ugly lighting. It's going to do nothing for my complexion. Well, what's all this about? My father said that I really shouldn't be involving myself in matters like this.
This afternoon, a young woman drank some disinfectant and died after several hours of agony tonight in the infirmary.
Ugh, how horrible. Was it an accident?
No, she wanted to end her life. She felt she couldn't go on any longer.
That's just awful. A poor girl destroying herself so horribly. And I've been so happy tonight. I just got engaged, you see. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Oh, I wish you hadn't told me. What was she like? Quite young?
Yes, 24.
Pretty?
She wasn't pretty when I saw her today.
But it's such a shame.
You see, your father had her sacked for asking for a pay rise, and then she was out of work for the next 2 months. Both her parents were dead, so that she'd no home to go back to, and she hadn't been able to save that much out of what Birling and Company had paid her. So that after 2 months with no work, no money coming in, and living in lodgings, with no relatives to help her, few friends, lonely, half-starved, she was feeling desperate.
Yes, I should think so. It's a rotten shame.
There are a lot of young women living in that sort of existence in every city and big town in this country. If there weren't, the factories of warehouses wouldn't know where to look for cheap labour.
These girls aren't cheap labour, they're people.
I've had that notion myself from time to time. In fact, I thought that it would do us all a bit of good if sometimes we tried to put ourselves in the place of these young women, counting their pennies in their dingy little back bedrooms.
Yes, I suppose it would. But what happened to her then?
She had what it seemed a wonderful stroke of luck. She was taken on in a shop, and a good shop too. McLeod's. Isn't that the shop you frequent, Miss Birling?
McLeod's? Yes, we go there. In fact, I was there this afternoon. Some gorgeous dresses. Yeah, she was lucky to get taken on at McLeod's.
That's what she thought. And it happened that at the beginning of December that year, 1910, there was a good deal of influenza about, and the McLeods suddenly found themselves short-handed. So that gave her a chance. It seemed she liked working there. It was a nice change from a factory. She enjoyed being among pretty clothes, I've no doubt. And now she felt she was making a fresh start. You can imagine how she felt.
Yes, of course.
After about a couple months, just when she felt she was settling down nicely, they told her she'd have to go. All she knew was that a customer complained about her, and so she had to go.
When was this?
At the end of January, last year. Here, I'll show you a picture of what she looked like.
You knew it was me all this time, didn't you?
I had an idea it might be, from something the girl herself wrote.
Told my father about it. He didn't seem to think it amounted to much, but I felt rotten about it at the time, and I feel even worse now. Did it make much difference to her?
Yes, I'm afraid it did. It was the last real steady job she had. When she lost it, for no reason that she could discover, she decided she might as well try another kind of life.
So I'm really responsible?
No, not entirely. A good deal happened to her after that, but you're partly to blame, just as your father is. Now, would you like me to tell you what happened?
I went to the manager at McLeod's. I told him that if they didn't get rid of that girl, I'd never go near the place again, and I'd persuade Mother to close our account with them.
And why did you do that?
Because I was in a furious temper.
And what had this girl done to make you lose your temper?
I was looking at myself in the mirror, caught sight of the girl smiling at the assistant. I was absolutely furious. I'd been in a bad temper anyhow.
And was it the girl's fault?
No, not really. It was my own fault.
What happened exactly?
I'd gone in to try something on. It was an idea of my own. Mother had been against it, and so had the assistant, but I insisted. When I tried it on, I knew they'd been right. It just didn't suit me at all. I looked silly in the thing. When this girl brought the dress up from the workroom, the assistant, Miss Francis, had asked her something about it, and this girl, to demonstrate what she meant, held it up against her, as if she was wearing it. It just suited her. She was the right type for it, just as I had been the wrong type. She was very pretty, too. Big, dark eyes. That didn't make it any better. When I looked at myself in the mirror and knew that it was all wrong, I saw the girl smiling at Miss Francis, as if to say, doesn't she look awful? I was furious. I was very rude to both of them, and I went to the manager and told him that this girl had been very impertinent, and how could I have known what would happen? If she'd been some miserable, plain little creature, I don't suppose I'd have done it. But she was very pretty, and Looked as if she could take care of herself. I couldn't feel sorry for her.
In a kind of way, you might be said to have been jealous of her.
Yes, I suppose so.
And so you used the power you had as a daughter of a good customer and also of a man well known in the town to punish the girl.
Yes, but it didn't seem to be anything very terrible at the time. Don't you understand? And if I could help her now, I would.
Yes, but you can't. It's too late. She's dead. Well, I don't want to keep you here. I have no more questions to ask you.
No, but you haven't finished asking questions, have you?
No.
And I'm staying. I know I'm to blame, and I'm desperately sorry, but I can't believe, I won't believe, it's simply my fault that in the end she committed suicide. That would be too horrible.
You see, we have to share something. If there's nothing else, we'll have to share our guilt.